Now we are going to talk about the insecure deserialization vulnerability and how it might occur in something like PHP and how to remediate it. So let's take a look at the code first. So we have this code that sets a cookie, and you have to see it's before any of the HTML. That's important. And we're saying that if there was a message in the post added to the cookie with the username, and here for shortcut's sake, we're not doing any kind of current user grabbing or login. We're just saying username John. Just, we are somewhere post login in this scenario. The username is John. We can grab that from the session. And we're saying expire it after 30 minutes, and this is a cookie for the whole path, right? So here, if we go further down and there's a read message, get parameter set, and the cookie with user data exists, we say get the cookie out of there and show us what's in the user data, and then show us what the user looks like. Okay, so let's see how this can go wrong. So we have, hello, it's me. Okay, and then if we hit the read message true, your username is John. Okay, so we know that the username is John. And if we want to see what the message is, that's in there as well. If, let's see. So we can just do user data. The message is there as well. So we don't need that for this example though, so let's get rid of that. Okay. So what if we do something like this? We know that the structure of the cookie is like this. We've been able to figure that out from what we know of PHP, or we're just a great hacker, or we've seen this before as a vulnerability. So what we're going to do now is we're going to mess with it. So we know that the message is before the username, and we know what the admin name would be. So we do something like that. So now it will be semicolon, username admin, and then John. And we know that it takes the second one. See, we're doing user data explode here. We're saying split our cookie by semicolon and then take the second one. This is 1, but in an array, 0 indexed array, the second item is at element 1, element 0 being the first one. And we're saying find the username. If the username is there, then use it in. So this is supposed to be like a guard, username. If that's not false, then use the second one here. But of course, the problem is we put username in our message. Pretty devious. So if we read the message now, you see that the username was set to admin. So that means we can get admin rights on the system if the system is relying on that cookie to figure out who is where in the application when they load the page. And so this is pretty bad. And of course, we need to have some knowledge for this to work a certain way, but sometimes if you use common mechanisms and common patterns, people can find out what you are up to. And one of the things we can do, it's actually pretty simple. We can stop relying on positions for the username. And we can stop relying on this kind of like explode working correctly for us for the user data, for the username being John. So one thing we can do is move it around. And we can say, how about we just do 2 different cookies, right? So we have user data. We'll keep that as message. So the message will get posted in here. And then we'll set a second cookie. And This one will be message data, user data, and then here we'll just have it be there we go. And we don't need to rely on semicolons. We don't need to rely on any of this stuff anymore for separating. So there we go, username John. And of course, these cookies, this one should be encrypted for sure. We should be setting encryption, and we should be setting a longer period of expiration since we want the person to be logged in. I mean, depending on the type of site it is, maybe not, but here we go. We're not setting anything here from user input. So now when we do this, we don't need any of this stuff. We can just do this directly. And we don't need to do this, but we can. This is no longer an array. So there we go. Let's see if that works right. So there we go. And then even if we put in something like this, that does not change. It does not get clobbered. And if we look at the message data, there you go. The message data shows up just fine. So that's how we were able to separate it into different cookies, one user influenced and one without user input.